WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. A Winston County man is dead after colliding with a log truck on Highway 25. The Highway Patrol says 24-year-old Ernest Williamson III was killed when he tried to cross 25 from Liberty Road and pulled in front of the loaded log truck. Williamson died at the scene of the 6 a.m. crash. The truck driver is being treated in Jackson for moderate injuries. A 33-year-old man is being held on several charges after authorities say he ran from police and crashed his car in Lee County Sunday night. Michael Palmer is accused of running from Baldwin police. Officers say Palmer also threw drugs out of his car as he was being chased. The pursuit ended in Lee County after deputies deployed spikes and Palmer crashed his car near 370 and Highway 45. Palmer is being held on a $250,000 bond on charges of kidnapping, felony fleeing, probation violation, and possession of methamphetamine. The contested mayoral race for the city of Starkville goes to court. Candidate Johnny Moore filed the contest against Mayor Lynn Spruill, who was declared the winner last summer. Our Parker King has been following the case all day in court. He joins us now live outside the Ottawa County Courthouse with the latest.
It's been about a year since the historic win where current Mayor Lynn Spruill defeated Johnny Moore by 7 votes in the mayoral election. But now that victory is being contested and we find ourselves in court today. The basis of Johnny Moore's complaint is that some of the affidavit ballots that were thrown out shouldn't have been. Now, normally you would think that this wouldn't be much of a complaint, but let's remember this is 7 votes we're talking about, and 23 of these affidavits were thrown out in the race. Now, what they're doing right now is they're cross-examining and examining poll managers from that election in 2017, trying to come up with some of the facts and straighten things out to see if these 23 affidavit ballots should have been thrown out. Now, we're going to have a little bit more as this story develops. They've already adjourned and are meeting tomorrow at 8:30, and again, we're going to have more of that as the story develops. But for now, live in Starkville, Parker King, WCBI News.
You will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which you are about to enter, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations, Senator.
Thank you.
And with that, Cindy Hyde-Smith is sworn in as the first woman from Mississippi to serve as senator. Vice President Mike Pence administered the oath of office this morning in the Senate chamber of the U.S. Capitol. Hyde-Smith, escorted by Mississippi Senator Roger Wicker, was named to replace longtime Republican Senator Thad Cochran. He retired on April 1st, citing health reasons. Governor Phil Bryant named the former state agriculture commissioner to the post. A special election for the seat is scheduled for November. A local lawmaker is back at home after a health scare. District 37 State Representative Gary Chisholm reportedly suffered what's being described as a mild stroke on Saturday. Chisholm had been feeling bad, and family members talked him into going to the hospital when they recognized stroke-like symptoms. He was released from the hospital Sunday. Chisholm has represented parts of Lowndes, Clay, and Ottawa counties in the State House of Representatives since 2000. He also served as chairman of the House Insurance Committee. Closing arguments were heard today in a federal trial regarding conditions at a privately run prison here in Mississippi. Civil rights groups filed suit on behalf of 1,200 inmates at the East Mississippi Correctional Facility in Meridian. The prison is run under a contract with Utah-based Management and Training Corps. Attorneys are defending the conditions and treatment of inmates, stating that they're constitutional. In court, accusations were brought up stating the guards used solitary confinement excessively. Attorneys for the state say the inmates' attorneys are trying to litigate the company out of business. In recent years, more school districts have been adding resource officers to help keep their campuses safe. Those numbers are growing after the rise of school closings, or rather school shootings, across the country. Our Jory Talley joins us in the studio with more.
School districts in Mississippi aren't required to have resource officers, but many do. Choctaw County School District has one district-wide officer whose purpose is keeping students safe.
This school resource officer walks the halls of every school in Choctaw County every day class is in session. It's not a job just anybody can do.
You have to be law enforcement certified in the state of Mississippi to be a school resource officer. I had to go to a training school for 7 days this past December. And so you have to be certified to do it. They just can't have a random person in there.
SRO Bradley Fancher is also a Choctaw County Sheriff's Deputy. A $10,000 SRO grant from the state helped make his position possible.
We go through our grant with the help of the Board of Supervisors. The district pays money to the Board of Supervisors, and that in turn goes to the Sheriff's Department, and the Sheriff's Department places an officer at our school district.
While many school districts have SROs, some still don't.
Everything comes down to funding, but we've made it a priority here in our district to find a way to fund that, because it's a very, very important part of our school.
Fancher has to complete so many hours of training every year and stays for every event that takes place after school. Protecting the students and being seen are the biggest parts of his job.
It's important for the parents to know that I'm there, because I'm there for their kids, you know, and I want their kids to feel safe. I want them to know that when they drop their kid off, that there's somebody there that's willing to protect them.
He says his role as a resource officer is good for relations between students and the Sheriff's Department.
These kids need to know, hey, this guy's my friend, because most kids grow up thinking that a police officer or a deputy is somebody they should fear, and that's one of the great things about this, is they can see that I'm a nice guy, I'm there for them, I'm their friend, and I want them to come to me if it's ever a serious situation rather than run from me.
Fancher says SROs also have to go through a 2-day active shooter training course. He's been in law enforcement for 7 years and an SRO for 2 years.
All right, Jory Talley in our studio with that story. Time now to get a first look at our forecast. We'll turn things over to meteorologist Jacob Dickey. Jacob?
Hey, Andrea, we had a beautiful Monday out there. Lots of warm air, beautiful weather out there. Sunshine all day long for us in Tupelo, Vernon, and Columbus, and anywhere in our viewing area. Very pleasant day to get outside. Tonight gets a little bit chillier. Temperatures heading for those low 40s. Maybe 1 or 2 of us sneak into the upper 30s. We'll stay up partly cloudy and again just a bit chilly through the night, but no problems. Maybe grab that sweatshirt as you're heading out the door. Now coming up, we've got some more sunshine during the week. The temperatures do climb. We're going to be watching some weekend storms, and if you were hoping for winter to end, not quite there yet. We'll have more of that coming up in just a bit.
Volunteers with Toyota Motor Manufacturing Mississippi spent part of the day getting their hands dirty at a Tupelo elementary school. As Allie Martin explains, it's a partnership between the automaker and the school district to help students get an early start on healthy lifestyles.
All right, everybody do a finger, okay? And put it down, okay? That's as deep as it needs to go. There you go.
It's a hands-on lesson for these second graders at Joyner Elementary as they plant beans and squash at the Discovery Garden with a little help from workers at the Blue Springs Toyota plant and Mississippi Young Professionals.
We think partnerships make our community such a stronger community.
This workday is organized by Growing Healthy Waves, a farm-to-cafeteria initiative in conjunction with Food Corps. It teaches young people the importance of eating fresh, nutrient-rich foods. Produce from this garden will find its way to the cafeteria as part of healthy lunches.
We want our children to be able to see that it's these very things that they are growing and participating in and have a hand in that they will also see in our cafeteria.
The Discovery Garden takes what students have learned in the classroom at Joyner about health, nutrition, and agriculture and shows them how to apply it in real life.
We also do lessons in the classroom with them as well on cooking and nutrition. So to have them grow the food themselves and then have these lessons in the classroom and then tie it into the cafeteria as well, it just is setting them up for success in the future, really.
Students had fun planting the seeds and most of them liked the vegetables.
I like vegetable biscotti, it's really good.
Why is it important to eat healthy?
Because if you don't eat healthy, your sugar can go overloaded and that won't be so good.
The Discovery Garden was initially funded through a grant from the Association for Excellence in Education. In Tupelo, I'm Allie Martin, WCBI News.
And that Discovery Garden will also be part of the Joyner Neighborhood Garden Tour, which is coming up in June. Well, an Ackerman Park will be getting a few upgrades too. The town was awarded a $5,000 Mississippi Hills grant last month. The money will be used for new playground equipment at the park in downtown Ackerman. A resident came across the information about the grant and passed it along to the mayor.
Grant. For the most part, what they're trying to do is make that area an area that you can sell as tourism. And we want to get in that market.
We just have a need for more equipment, and we've got a nice walking track that we established a few years ago and just needed some additions to it, so this will be used to help on that.
Mayor Cutts says the town is very thankful for the opportunity. He also says this is a matching grant, so the city will also provide money for the equipment. A pilgrimage favorite returns to Columbus tonight. We take a live look when we come back. Welcome back, everyone. After a slight delay, a favorite attraction on the Columbus Spring Pilgrimage gets underway tonight. Students from the Mississippi School for Mathematics and Science are participating in the 28th annual Tales from the Crypt. Bad weather forced a cancellation Friday night, but that is not putting a damper on the students' enthusiasm. Our Quentin Smith is live at Friendship Cemetery with more on what you can expect tonight. Quentin?
Andre, if you love history and drama, then here at the Friendship Cemetery is where you want to be for tonight's Tales from the Crypt. Now, for months now, students from MSMS have been getting ready for the tour, working to bring history to life. Now, the way it works is the students will pick one person buried here at the cemetery, research their life, then tell their story through a monologue. Now, right now, they're working to get everything set up and to get everything into place, and the tour will kick off at 7 o'clock tonight. Now, coming up tonight on WCBI News at 9 and 10, we'll have more from this performance and hear from the actors and actresses about the characters they choose from tonight's performance. But for now, reporting live in Columbus, Quentin Smith, WCBI News.
It'll be great weather if you're heading out tonight there. Those temperatures falling into the upper 50s and then eventually the low 50s. We'll be bottoming out in those 40s though, so if you go out late, maybe grab that sweatshirt. Coming up, we'll talk about the sunshine, the warmth, chance of storms, and cold air returning.
Forecast with meteorologist Jacob Dickey.
We're enjoying some sunshine and some warmth today. Those temperatures getting into those upper 60s and even low 70s in a few spots. Right now in Columbus, we're sitting at 68, a light north wind helping to bring some drier air in, some more continental Canadian air, but we still warm up nicely today. Really all across the southeast, seeing those 60s and 70s. This is a big difference from what we saw this weekend. It's 70 in Birmingham, 73 in Mobile, New Orleans at 69, 68 in Shreveport. A nice dome of pleasant weather across the southeast, and that's being reinforced with a light north wind from 5 to 10 miles an hour, keeping the moisture down to our south, allowing it to be very nice and comfortable out for today and especially as we head into the next couple of days. Now tonight we'll get those temperatures drop into those mid-50s by 11 p.m. We'll see variable clouds through the night. Overnight lows will be heading for those low 40s, maybe even a few upper 30s in spots across our area, but not a bad night there. We'll keep things high and dry. For our Tuesday, then looking for highs in those mid to upper 60s. Tupelo, I've got us at 65, 65 in Amory. Houston, 66. Water Valley will also see 65. The Golden Triangle, we have the best shot to get a 70 on the board. We've got 70 in DeKalb, 69 in Macon. Columbus also 69 for a high tomorrow. Starkville at 67 and Kosciuszko at 68. Over in West Alabama, we'll see 67 for our high in Solent. Our friends in Vernon also getting to 67 under partly cloudy skies with light north winds for all of us through the day on Tuesday. Now after this, we keep this pleasant weather in place for us here across our region through Wednesday and even into Thursday. This high pressure helps to bring cooler air on the front side, but on the back side, we warm things up with the south wind, and that will increase our moisture and the heat for us as we go into Thursday and on Friday. Seeing some 80s on the board finally to end this week, but Notice how we start to slip things as we head into the weekend. That's because of our next cold front coming through. Friday, there is a chance for severe weather. A slight risk issued just off to our west. We still may see a strong storm or two in our area Friday night into Saturday. That's because of this cold front sliding in. We'll have to see just exactly when it comes, but when it does, could see some severe storms, especially some heavy rain in spots to start our weekend. After that, then behind the cold front, some cooler air comes into place. The darker the blue, the higher the confidence that we see cooler air. And we see that cool air in our 7-day forecast for Sunday and on Monday, only the low 60s, even upper 50s again for some of us. We will start our week next week with a frost and a freeze. Andrea?
Some Lowndes County drivers will have to look for alternate routes on Wednesday. Jolly Road will be closed while road crews replace a culvert at the intersection of Jolly and Spivey Roads. That work is expected to last from 8:30 a.m. until noon. Again, that's on Wednesday. All right, coming up, we recap the weekend of SEC baseball in Starkville and look ahead, plus high school football coaching and recruiting news. That's next in sports.
The CBI Sports with Robbie Donahoe is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
April is usually the month when things start to get weird and wacky in college baseball. And this past weekend in Starkville, it got that way. Going into the weekend series, Ole Miss hadn't lost an SEC 3-game set. The Bulldogs hadn't won one. That's all now changed thanks to one swing of the bat by Belmont's own Luke Alexander. As MSU snapped their series slide and took 2 of 3 from Ole Miss with that 7-5 win in extras on Sunday. With the win, Bulldogs have now won 4 of their last 6 and trying to make the climb back up the SEC standings. For Ole Miss, the Rebels still in solid position for postseason play and hosting a regional, but the series loss still stands for Ole Miss as both clubs go back to work on Monday to try and build off of the series or move past it.
The confidence moving forward and knowing that you can show up in a big moment when it matters like that, he gets to take that with him, and that's that reservoir that you keep looking back at and what have you done and why should you be confident and all the rest of it. That helps him, and also helps our club.
I think it could kickstart us. We've been showing progress throughout the year, and just to do that against Ole Miss, I think it could kickstart us.
I think we'll respond. It's a tough month, April, and we stay on the road. We go Tuesday to Pearl, and that's playing the games down in Pearl make April even more difficult. With the midweek games, but we got to be tough enough to handle it.
And that series loss doesn't really affect Ole Miss too much in the rankings. They dropped from 3 to 5. They're still in the top 5. Florida's still your #1 team, even though they did lose to Tennessee, but they railed the Volunteers in their first game of that matchup. Southern Miss staying holding steady at 13, Georgia at 18, A&M 22, LSU 23, and Lane Burroughs' Louisiana Tech Bulldogs cracked the top 25. They are at number 25. The SEC standings, Florida's at the top, 9-3 in the conference. Arkansas and Georgia now in a tie for second. Ole Miss drops to a tie for fourth. You see a log jam and a tie for 8th with Alabama, Kentucky, Tennessee, South Carolina, and Texas A&M. You see Auburn and Mississippi State at the bottom. This week in the SEC, speaking of Auburn and Mississippi State, they will play against one another coming up this weekend. It will be a Friday through Sunday series. The Friday game will be on the SEC Network at 7:30 on the Plains. The Bulldogs will have a midweek game at Alabama State on Wednesday. Ole Miss, as Mike Bianco mentioned, will be down in Pearl to take on Southern Miss on Tuesday at 6, and then they will head to Vanderbilt to play Commodores in Nashville for a Friday through Sunday set. The Sunday game at 4 p.m. will be on ESPNU. To high school football, New Hope will be looking for a new head football coach as Chris Pickle confirms to WCBI that he has stepped down to pursue other endeavors outside of coaching. Pickle was 24-23 in his 4 seasons as head coach of the Trojans, leading New Hope to one of their best seasons in school history. That was in 2014, his first season, when he led the Trojans to a 10-3 overall record and a win in the playoffs. A Hatley High graduate, Pickle played football at Mississippi College before getting into high school football coaching. And at Louisville today, rising junior linebacker Ashanti Sistrunk announced via Twitter that he is verbally committed to Ole Miss. During his junior season with the Power Cats, Sistrunk was second on the team with 135 total tackles, 6 of them going for a loss. He also had 4 sacks, led the team with 5 interceptions. Usually you don't see a linebacker leading the team in picks, but it's kind of clear that Ashanti is. He is expected to be a major part of a Louisville team that returns a scary defense and a super talented offense. In 2018, you know about Charles Moore, you know about Deontay Yarbrough, Kevon Jackson. They got a really talented team coming back for 2018. So obviously we are a ways away from high school football. We have spring football coming up in these next few months, but high school football tour coming in fast, but something to look forward to down the road in 4A. That's it for sports. We're going to last look at the forecast next. Seconds.
Lots of beautiful weather for the next couple of days here. We get 3 days of lots of sunshine. Even Friday looks like we'll have plenty of sun during the day. They're warm. Saturday, things cool off. Sunday, chilly. Monday, chilly too. I guess, Andre, you're wearing more of a spring outfit today.
I am. We've been giving you a lot of grief today about the cooler
weather. I even
wear.
wore the blue tie because of the colder air coming on here. So, you know.
It's okay.
But I want the warm weather too. Let that be known. I do want that.
Maybe by June, and we'll all be complaining
That's
then.
right. We'll be wishing for that.
All right. That's the news at 6 o'clock. Everyone enjoy the rest of your Monday evening.